Welcome to the show before the show, where I check to make sure everything's working. A little scare there this morning. It almost wasn't, but it is. And that's why I'm here, broadcasting to you in your home and hopefully into your hearts. Hey, Will.
Hello.
I'm Patrick Marlette, your local game guy. This is Will, your local game co-host. And this
Oh,
stream, no, not much. You saw us just a moment ago, really, if you were up with us last night. But this stream is going to cover all of the latest legendaries from Tarkir Dragonstorm. There are 26 to be precise, unique new legends to cover. And we have established a new bracket system we're going to be incorporating with this tier list. So if you're interested in brewing for these decks, we'll tell you where we think they place. Obviously, you could push any legendary to whatever height you want. That doesn't mean it's going to perform well. So we try to curb your expectations when it comes to some of these latest legends releasing. Now, obviously, if you're a Sarkhan fan, play the deck, like do the thing, and let us know how it goes, because obviously this game is about having fun. And moreover, any other format, we're putting the F in fun. Okay, Will, we're going to put the F in fun today. Can we do that?
no, because we're going by 5-1. It's bracket system. Let's go. We're numbers now. We're numerical, not alphabetical.
We're getting competitive with every number today, which is what people do. Well, I mean, I don't know how many of these ones are going to be pushed, but I am excited to talk about these latest legendaries. Obviously, if you haven't caught up with our review of the set, it is a shorter one, I will say. Shorter. It's like about an hour and 30. We normally can wax poetic for a while there, but there weren't too many new additions to really speak on. However, thoughts overall on Tarkir Dragonstorm, the set with all of the keywords?
I like it. It's interesting. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with it, but not a lot of competitive things. I will say they added in some like bombshell cards into the set that are probably going to be
Yeah.
must-buys.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to with sets. Like you need to make sure there's a reason to come, but also they did a really good job with the alt arts in the set. It's kind of a shame that a lot of them, if I'm not mistaken, are for collector boosters only, or like at least the expectation of seeing them in any percentage is collector boosters. But that's okay. This model now is kind of weird to me. I feel like they've also dropped draft boosters. Am I crazy? Like it's just like the set booster, the collector booster, and then that's it, right? I need to check on this particular product, but I remember going out for some draft boosters for a different set, and they're like, yeah, that doesn't exist. At any rate, I guess that's why we have pre-release kits. That'll be fine. I feel like most game stores usually have a few pre-release kits kicking around after the event, which I do kind of want to fool with because there are some cards in here that I wouldn't mind getting, namely a dragon, a white dragon. Will, you want to start this little puppy off? Tarkir
Yeah,
Puppy Storm?
we can kick off the Tarkir Doggo Storm.
Yeah, that's gonna be a. If that hasn't been a secret lair already, I feel like they would do Tarkir Puppy Storm, and then I could see them promoting it by having like people come with a bunch of therapy pups and like talking about their favorite dogs. They should do that here. Wizards, free marketing pitch. Get your artist on to talk about their inspirations behind the dog art, and then have them with a bunch of puppies talking about dogs. Be therapy for all. I think we could use a little good-hearted infotainment. All right. Let's start. We're going to do this in, as we do with every set, Wooburg order. Unlike other sets, there's only one monocolor per color. Except for red,
Has two.
except for red,
Red has
excuse me.
two.
So yeah, it should be pretty quick to get to Wooburg, and then we're going to cover a lot of multicolor. Obviously, we're over here on our tier list maker. It's tiermaker.com. Guys, if you want to have your input, now is the time. Well, this is live. So, Anafenza?
Anafenza, Unyielding Lineage. 2 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature, spirit soldier with flash and first strike. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you have this Endure 2. For those who don't know and weren't here last time or just don't know the set, Endure says put 2+1/+1 counters on this or summon a 2/2 spirit. Whatever the number is, that's how many counters, that's the stats of the spirit. So, as a commander...
Non-flying, by the way. Just a regular old spirit.
Non-flying. Just flash first strike. It's a combat trick in the command zone. I will say that Anafenza is probably bracket 1, only because it's kind of like mini God Eternal Ketra, where Ketra made 4/4 Vigilant Zombies whenever you cast a creature, and had double strike, like the Ketra had double strike. This has first strike, but it cares about when your creatures die, which are in white, so it's kind of hard to build into.
Right, and specifically non-token, which makes sense because obviously you could make tokens.
It goes infinite. It goes infinite if it's non-token.
Yeah. But that ultimately makes us kind of weak, right?
Yeah,
like your narrow path. Yeah.
You can build this as like some kind of Voltron deck where you just play a whole bunch of self-sacking weenies or just like random sack effects, and then you go, okay, I'm gonna swing for like 10 on turn 5 first strike. But there's better things you can do in mono white.
What is it, Children of Corliss? It's like the one self-sacking weenie, as you would describe it.
There are several.
No, that's the one I... Oh, that's the only one I could remember being played. But yeah, you get like Ranger Captain of Eos and all sorts of stuff.
Like a Selfless Bodyguard and stuff like that. One drops that say sacrifice this, do something like very casual.
That's kind of funny, right? You're like self-sacrificing bodyguards, like sacrificing itself for a spirit. Like she's dead, bro, dude.
2 counters, just 2 counters every time. Make it big.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, we were really hoping for that self-sacrificing bodyguard to go home that night. But Anafenza dragged him into her tier 1 list. I think that
bracket 1, tier 1 is something completely different.
Bracket 1. Sorry, we're on tier maker. Sorry, bracket 1. Yeah, we will be using the bracket system from here on out.
Oh, and to give the introduction for those who have not been a part of our other tier lists, each one represents the brackets. For those who don't know the brackets, bracket 1 is kind of more so jokey, fun decks. You're not playing to win; you're playing to go, haha, I did a thing. Bracket 2 is precons, roughly. Bracket 3 is improved precons. It's the decks that say like, I will probably be beating precons, but it's still going to be kind of fair, but I'm winning more likely than I'm not. And then bracket 4 is just under CDH. It's like you polished your deck as much as you can, but it's still built to be casual. You're not using like really, really efficient game lines. You're just playing to do the thing your deck wants to do in the most efficient way possible. And then CDH is CDH. You trim everything down to be the most efficient thing you can do. A good way to think of it is bracket 2 can beat bracket 1s, or can lose to bracket 1s but still beat bracket 3s. Bracket 3s can still lose to bracket 2s but also beat bracket 4s. Bracket 4 can lose to bracket 3 but beat bracket 5, and bracket 5 can lose to bracket 4. That's kind of like a good way to put it.
And to itself. But no bracket 6 yet.
No bracket 6. They're probably going to change the bracket system at some point in the future.
Yeah.
That is what we got.
To where these videos will be useless, but enjoy them while you can, okay? Yeah. These are this whole concept is for the fun of it, right? We're putting the F in fun today. Don't forget. Also, it's just a good way for us to all like collectively hive mind our thoughts on the latest legends. Speaking of latest legends, excuse me. My God, do I love this guy. Old One Punch Man, Tank Top Taigam, Master Opportunist. He is a human monk, 2/2 body. Whenever you cast Flurry, I should say. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. Then exile a spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. All right, well, what do you think about Flurry? Have a little now, have a little later.
So Flurry's a fun mechanic. My favorite thing, though, is if you have other Suspend cards in the deck, you can set it up to use Taigam to cast both of your suspend cards like back to back, and then flurry the second suspend card you cast. So you can kind of loop a little bit of value, but it's really only once per turn because it's your second spell, not
Right.
every other spell. So it's very limited. Waiting 4 turns can hurt a lot. So basically you're going to be playing into your curve where you probably play like a 1-cost spell, then a really high value spell, and then it does the thing. The only useful, like really useful thing is Flurry does not say instant or sorcery, so you will copy permanent spells as well, and then you can suspend them later. So you can keep generating multiple copies of a useful creature if you really want. Because what you can do as another thing is suspend the 1 card. Upkeep trigger, suspend trigger, in response to the suspend trigger, opt. Then, suspend resolves, you cast the spell, Taigam trigger, copy the spell, put the spell back in suspend, and you can keep resuspending that card. If you have a way of removing time counters, you can do this multiple times a turn.
Mm-hmm.
There's some kind of engine that you can get here, but I feel like just playing the time counter Joyra is more fun and just more enjoyable.
Yeah, this is kind of...
He can be a 2. He might be a 2.
I think there's good value here. He's kind of squishy being a 2 for 2/2. Like it sort of, that's the bottom of the barrel, right? When it comes to like
one
removal
punch man
targets.
became one tapped man.
Exactly. Probably not CDH, but fun. Tersa Lightshatter. Yeah, we'll get to, it's one of the red ones, right? Taigam's okay, man. I really like this character. I like that he was brought back here. I don't know that this is my favorite iteration of him, but the art looks sick as hell. I think his, by the way, like you're saying, asking about this new alt treatment, I think his is my favorite easily. Plus, you got the American flag colors in the background. Hoorah! Yeah, America. Sorry, I don't know. I don't really care about that. It's funny that I like that he's mono blue though, and they're like Jeskai. It would be better if he kept his Azorius identity. You know what? Actually, yeah.
If he had more colors, I would be happier because that just gives more utility.
So much better. What's better than one Underworld Breach, Will?
Multiple. Underworld Breach every single turn.
You thought I was done with Underworld Breach? Right? You exile the original copy, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. This is a 2. This is a 2. A 2-mana 2/2 in bracket 2.
I'm going to be hopping in and out of that breach like an automatic door at Costco.
Oh, man. Why'd you bring up Costco? I'm so hungry. I want one of those hot dogs. I got a TikTok of a girl who asked it for her Costco photo to pose with one of their hot dogs. So she's like in a photo with a hot dog. I love the internet. All right. We've got Sidisi.
Regent of Mire.
I was gonna say
black for legendary creatures, zombie warlock naga, snake, with 1 power and 3 toughness.
Yeah.
Sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi. Hate that wording. Return target creature card with mana value X plus 1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate as a sorcery. So this is good in the 99. As a commander itself, limiting your colors, limiting your utility so you don't have untap effects, and also not doing anything until you have a good grave feels horrible. But in casual, there are some kind of useful, grindy things you can do by running the Stitcher supplier effects and just keep getting a bigger one every turn. I think that this is probably bracket 2 because it can inevitably just let you play one of the 0 mana 6 cost creatures and then turn that into a brutal 7-drop like OG Shieldred and then make people cry.
Mm-hmm.
So I will put Sidisi as a 2, but much worse than she is in the 99.
Yeah, she really needs to see a dentist. Her teeth are bothering me in this image. I could go back to the other one. God.
As my British friends like to say, she has the British dental plan.
This is okay. I don't think Grave Pod is like a real strategy that is going to be, especially in mono black, achievable successfully in a competitive setting. So I would say that B4, which is like the high power, and 5 CDH are kind of out of the picture here. I do not think that this falls in the 3. I do agree with you that this is maybe of the same standard as, I mean, what they described as like precons. I feel like you can make a deck that will achieve something slowly, and it'll be
There's
okay.
cheeky and exploitable things here, but they're not exploitable enough in mono black.
Didn't its other... Wasn't the ability on the original Sidisi called exploit? Did you just say the word?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
The,
Oh my god.
not the original Sidisi.
No,
I
Undead
think the
Vizier.
original was
Undead Vizier.
Temur, but
oh, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, but the one that people care about in a competitive setting, the original Sidisi with exploit, and you, the funny thing is you could sacrifice Sidisi.
Which that is funny that you cannot sacrifice Sidisi on the new Sidisi.
No, it has to be another card, Will. Didn't you read?
No. It has to be something other than Sidisi.
Okay. It doesn't say which Sidisi either. It says it just says other than Sidisi, not other than Sidisi Regent of the Mire. So it sounds like even if I had another Sidisi, I couldn't sacrifice that Sidisi. What did you just say?
Other than this, they could have said sacrifice another creature. Like,
you know, for the wording of this card, I kind of want to bring it down like a rung. I wanna teach them a lesson. You make cards with funny text. We rank them lower. Not that they're looking at this, but hey, bracket 2. I think that's fair. Unfortunately, she doesn't have that many untappers in mono black. Not really. I mean, I guess you could go...
Does she have any?
Liquid metal form keys. Voltaic, manifold.
Yeah, but those aren't creatures. You can't do, like, the whole birthing pod thing.
No, I know. Otter Sidisi. Was there an Otter Sidisi? I'm sorry, did I miss that? No. God, you got me all excited, Tylor. Oh, are you saying the poll? Yeah, that's an important poll, guys. Please respond to the poll. One of those was in there just for my sake. You'll know it when you see it. All right.
You know what I really miss? I miss Taigam when he was in Mire.
He was
there in the Commander Precon, the Wizard Tribal. He was Mire.
Oh, he's looking up really quick.
Taigam. I keep forgetting that was Taigam. It's Sidisi's hand.
Which one, though? Which one? Okay.
The one you can't sacrifice.
Exactly. Otter Sidisi. I wish. Maybe one day. All right, well, you want to go over Sarkhan?
Yep. Sarkhan, Dragon Ascendant, 1 in a red for a legendary creature human druid with 2 power and 2 toughness. When this enters, you may behold a dragon, and if you do, create a treasure token. Behold says, when this effect triggers, reveal a card of the named type to gain benefit. In this case, a dragon. So, the other part of the effect is whenever a dragon you control enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarkhan. Until the end of the turn, Sarkhan becomes a dragon in addition to its other types, and gains flying. So he gets a little bit bigger. He gives you 1 treasure, so he's technically a 1-drop. But if you're doing dragons, there's better things you could be doing by like a month.
Whoa!
So
you're not into beholding dragons?
The thing is, beholding the dragon doesn't even matter because it's just giving you a treasure to get a 4-drop dragon out on turn 3.
Do you like
and then you get a counter on Sarkhan, and then that's it. You play 1 dragon.
I like that this is its own mechanic. It's like, you see that dragon on the board? I get a treasure. I mean, you can show a dragon from your hand.
Use a dragon you control or reveal a
dragon. I know. I mean, you can still show him the dragon in your hand, but why give him the dragon in your hand when there's 2 in the bush? You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Or just 1. But there's a treasure too. There's a treasure next to the dragon.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of...
Sarkhan is B1. You're giving a +1/+1 counter whenever you cast a 4+ cost creature is
there's
not great.
There's just dragon hatchlings and stuff. You can You can make it work.
Yeah, the two.
Will changelings? You
Yeah, there's
forgot that
changelings.
changelings
There's the
exist?
small. There's the dragonlings from Baldur's Gate that are just dragons with a job.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it Sarkhan is better by a mile? He literally becomes a copy of a dragon on ETB. Yeah, but he's not beholden to the dragon. Like he doesn't even seem to care about dragons in the same way that this one
behold,
does.
dragon these nuts across your face.
That's a treasure.
Sarkhan this D, and by D I mean dragon.
That's a exactly. That's a treasure for me. Yeah, it's in the one slot. I'm sorry, Sarkhan. Cool set though. Cool set for you. This is somehow the most underwhelming ramp ever. Yeah, it really is. It really is. It so is. I mean, look, look, if you had a dragon in a way to get Sarkhan in and out of the battlefield infinitely, you would have infinite treasure. So there is that. But in mono red, there's a lot to ask for. I don't know. Yeah, we're not beholden to these dragons.
I'm going to strive Twin Flame, getting infinite copies of dual casters and infinite treasures. Yeah, we have infinite mana. Ignore the infinite army of hasty creatures. We have infinite mana.
Yeah, we're stopping right there. It's okay. I mean, I guess it'll help you cheat out some things, but you're absolutely right. This is pretty underwhelming ramp. At least in a CDH setting, and we're looking at these specifically in the command zone. So it's important to note that these cards could be better elsewise and in other formats. But this is a card that was brought up earlier, and one that Mateus apparently is excited for. I'm curious to see if it's any good. Wait, well, what?
Tersa Lightshatter.
Oh. Yeah. Do it.
Also, really quick, alternate art, sick as hell.
Yeah, this one might be the best. It's definitely Taigam, this one.
It's 2 red for a 3/3 legendary orc wizard with haste. When this enters, discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many cards.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever this attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card from your graveyard at random. You may play that card this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to say that you can theoretically go infinite with this card if you have exactly 7 extra combat spells in your graveyard and no other cards in your graveyard. Because you just keep replaying the extra combat spell. Granted, you have to pay the mana to keep going, which is another hurdle to jump through, but it's kind of an Underworld Breach in the command zone.
7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random. Right, just hope you don't hit the fetch. No fetches in this deck. Only permanents that stick, please.
I do like this as a commander in general, though, because you can keep recasting cards over and over and over again, because once you cast the card from exile, it goes back to grave, and then you can replay it again later if you RNG into it properly. So, I like it. It's fun, but it is also, like, very limited, considering the fact that it's random. So,
yeah,
I'll give it a 2, because you can definitely grind with this deck. Like, if you just want to play mono red control, you can go like, cool, I give Tersa Darksteel Plating. I'm gonna attack. Oh look, I hit Blasphemous Act. Oh, I hit what is it called? Shattering Spree. Replicate a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. You can make people very annoyed with Tersa. So
it's kind of fun. I mean, I do like the random aspect of Tersa Lightshatter in that sense. Why? Do you think that, well, there's hope in a casual setting, is what you're saying?
This is a good commander for casual. This is not a good CDH commander. I don't think it's getting B4. It might be able to build into B3, but I think B2 fits it a lot better.
I think B2 fits it fine. 3 mana, 3/3 haste with good card quality effect, right? Discard up to 2, draw that many cards. Obviously, this isn't accounting for anything that might double that trigger and or you had flicker, which you don't, and red. Recasting it, I guess. You could get so many good stacks cards. Yeah, and there's that too. Obviously, if you exile something that you can't cast that turn, then, you know, you're SOL. But elsewise, if you're casting the card, it's not bound to be exiled. Like, it'll come back, and then you can get it back again by chance. This is good. You know, there's the only downside, again, I see here is that if you just can't cast the card from exile that turn. But elsewise, it's not bad. I think it's a B2 for sure. All right. Well, we got one good red card.
Yeah. Next, Surak, Elusive Hunter. 2 and a green for a 4/3 legendary creature human warrior with trample and cannot be countered. Whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls to draw a card. I also want to point out the flavor that he went from a Surak Dragonclaw to Surak the Hunt Caller to Surak and Goreclaw to Surak Elusive Hunter leading the bears in the background of the original art on this card.
There you go.
He's bear captain. Let's go.
Yeah. What's with the antlers? What's up with the antlers on his chest? There is one stag back there. Actually, there's wolves. It's like Noah's Ark, except we're missing one. Is he the other deer in this picture? There's 2 wolves, 2 bears, and 1 doe. Well, it has horns, so.
But this is bad. It's really just a 3 mana 4/3 trample that can't be countered, and you draw like maybe 2 cards throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, unless the creatures you're putting on the field are particularly threatening, like I wouldn't consider this good card advantage. Let me just put it that way. It's like you're relying on people either 1 perceiving you as a threat or 2 just not liking you. And anything that's like mass removal that doesn't say target, sorry, bud. You're just losing cards. And in mono green, that's not a good spot to be in, man. You get like Sylvan Library and that's it. That's rough. There's plenty of stuff that like draw off of creature's power, and yes, I know. You say this is bracket 1?
This is bracket 1.
Yeah.
It's bad, Nadu.
Yeah, it's don't do. All right. That's it.
Secret lore is that the stag in the back is Kenrith. It could be. We have the open plains now. Kenrith could just casually walk over.
Orcish Bowmaster will just kill you, by the way. How do you mean?
Oh, yeah, you target a thing, you draw, target, 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 draw game.
There's no May. Yeah, there's no May about this.
Yeah. Man, even worse than we thought.
Yeah, Surak, it's like you finally get the draw. No. Yeah, you get the draw. You'll get the draw. Using Surak and Beantown Bullies, give it to your opponent, then use Orcish Bowmaster.
And that is John. That's funny.
That's kind of funny, yeah. Surak in the CZ again is like okay, but I do like the ideas flowing here. That's so funny, man. Oh yeah, have this elusive hunter. He never, yeah, exactly. It's like he's so elusive. He never makes his way onto my field, but you can have him. All right, well, we move on to speaking of Noah's Ark. There's like 2 of every same legend here. So we've got Nariv, Crackling Vanguard, and Nariv, Heart of the Storm. I'll start us off with Crackling Vanguard. So
yeah, you can take the deck, the commander deck ones. I'll take the non-commander deck ones. Yeah. So you get the cool border ones, and I get the casual ones.
Well, I think there's a cool art for this one. It does get the it gets the black painter treatment, Pinnerly treatment, and and that's sort of like the story border that we got from Eldraine.
But yeah, I'll let you take the Crackling Nariv.
Yes, it's crackling. Put your feet next to it; they'll stay warm. All right, so for 2 in Mardu, 4/4 Spirit Dragon, flying, Death Touch. When Nariv enters, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. We're eating good tonight. Whenever Nariv attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control. So not those 2. During any turn you attack with a commander, you may play those cards. Wow. Token Tribal Will. Have you seen it before?
I mean, you're in Mardu, so you have access to a lot of tokens.
That's right.
And you can do token copy stuff, so...
Oh, Theomancer! Give me your Death Touch snakes! Not Nagas. Never Nagas again. Yeah, this is cool. He's 5 mana. He's very slow. If it was like... honestly, I could honestly do without the ETB of creating goblins. Hear me out. If it just said whenever Nariv enters and or attacks, because it's 5 mana. Like I'll have, if my deck is trying to do that, I'll have a bunch of tokens laid out already. Don't worry, Nariv. We got the goblins covered. It's like the easiest token to make in the game. Don't worry, got the goblins covered. This is like, it's in 3 colors, so it's gonna be okay. I think it's bracket 3 by virtue of the fact that you could probably do a thing okay with this deck. If I'm missing something here that's like some amazing combo, 1A+B combo, let me know. I'm not.
You just draw a lot with this commander. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, it's not even draw, Will. It's kind of better, I guess, it because you're skirting around anything that would stunt your draw. So like you get to,
And hand size.
right. It is for the turn though. Yeah, during any turn you attack.
Any turn you attack with your commander.
Okay. Well then, bracket 3 still. I don't think it's that good. It's really slow. It would
be really funny if you run this in the 99 of a deck and people keep killing your commander, so you're exiling a whole bunch of cards, but you never attack with your commander.
That'd be awful. That'd be absolutely awful. Yeah, guys, let me know if you like this dragon, because apparently 41% of you like dragons better than dogs. And Naga? Come on. There's also otter down there, but I don't care about otters. Maybe you do. I'm curious to see where this
disappointment.
Yeah. Will, what do you think about Crackling Vanguard? Do you like it better than a B3, or where are you on this guy?
I'd say it's B3 because it's really just a decent amount of draw in the command zone. It's kind of like Timna, but a little bit more draw once you actually get into the later game.
Yeah, I kind of like how it functions, right? So yeah, it'll just remember that like that's the exile pile from Nariv. Again, I kind of wish it was ETB instead. Like, you don't need the goblin tokens off this card. It feels kind of it's whatever. It's just a self-fulfilling thing, right? It gives you the opportunity to at least dig one. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Next is Nariv. Wait.
I know.
Deja vu. Heart of the Storm. 1 a red, a white, and a black for a legendary creature, spear dragon with 4 power, 5 toughness, and flying. If a creature you control entered this turn, would deal damage. It deals twice that much damage instead. So it's not combat damage, it's just damage.
Raw.
So you get like a goblin sharpshooter, it's dealing 2 damage instead of 1 damage if you give it haste to start doing the thing. This is probably going to be Ball Lightning Tribal. It can do fun stuff. Ball Lightning is the really funny example because it now deals 12 damage for 3 mana.
It's pretty nice.
But yeah, just do hasty things and swing. This is a very funny dash commander. This is a commander that you can build into in a bunch of different ways. I like it just by virtue of the fact that there are several different things you can do with this commander. You can just play big things and play boots and then swing, or you can do dumb tribal or dumb keywords. I'd give this a 3, just by the fact that it has so many things you can build into it, and it can build seriously or fun.
Yeah. These boots were made for running.
And that's just what they'll do.
Yeah, and this includes itself. So, like, if you were to just put boots on this, you'll do 8 damage to someone. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like
commander damage.
Yay! Commander.
That adds up though.
Twice. So you don't want to do Voltron? Commit.
You very well could. Because here's the thing: you can get a freaking 1/1 goblin, equip the crap out of it, including boots, and then just go boom, take 20 from a goblin.
Yeah, that's true. So why did you say goblin? Are you trying to put the other Nariv to shame?
Yeah, the other Nariv. It's the most common. I heard a wise man once say it's the easiest type of token to make in Mardu.
It comes out every set. There's a goblin that attacks and makes goblins, okay? It comes out every set. Anytime there's goblins, there's more goblins. There's more goblins around. That should be on a shirt. Anytime there's goblins, there's more Actually, that'd be a 6 shirt. And there's like just a bunch of goblins hidden on the shirt, like within the seams or like under the armpit, or like you could flip the shirt upside down. There's a goblin inside. That'd be really cool. I would buy that.
I looked at the goblin token that we have from this set, and I'm like, this guy is a freaking rascal in every way, shape, and form.
What's the goblin look like? Oh, these are sick. These are like Kamigawa goblins.
Yeah, because Tarkir's like, I think it's Japan. I think it's supposed to be like either like
Oh.
Chinese or Japanese
Well,
historical battlements and armor and stuff
there's
like
like
that.
a lot of Neon Dynasty influences, and now I'm understanding. Okay. Let me see here. The
But
previous one would be
freaking
better with depth
just
instead of.
leaping around in a thunderstorm with his tongue out, barefooting around like,
Wait, I'm sorry. We're B3 on this guy though.
oh yeah, B3 because you can do a lot of shenanigans with him.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. I count otters as sea dogs along with seals and sea lions. Otters are
No,
so
no, no.
otters are really cute.
Sharks are sea dogs. I don't know if
Yeah,
anyone's ever watched documentaries about sharks, but they're like weirdly chill.
yeah. I don't. I feel like they only approach people because we look like tasty sea lions to them when we're decked out in like our swimwear,
Well,
right?
it's more like they approach us because they're like, "What the fuck is that? What is?"
Is it tasty?
Well,
I
they don't bite a lot of the time. Weirdly enough, like they bite if they have kids nearby, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I have a pal we met when I was in the Philippines, and she's like a dive master in Australia, and she's like, sharks are really not the concern. It's usually was this? It's called a kingfish, or it's some sort of fish that's extremely territorial, and its bite is like one of the hardest bites in the world, and it'll like chase you down if you come near its like coral or whatever. If you're near it, if you're near it and you piss it off, it will swim after you for a while and try to take chunks out of you. Like that was the issue she was saying, not the sharks, which is so interesting to hear because I think sharks are intimidating just by nature,
You,
literally their nature.
the funny thing is though, like divers who are like professional scuba divers for a long time, they're like, an angry shark is easy to deal with. If a shark comes charging at you with its mouth open, put a hand on its nose and just push down, and then grab its stomach and lift up, and then make it vertical, and then it'll just go, "What the crap is going on?" And then it'll leave you alone because it's just so startled and it does not want to go through that again.
Don't do that to me. His therapist,
Literally,
later is
you're
like,
spinning the shark, and then it's just like, "Nah, man, I don't want anything you're selling anymore."
I mean, I love to try it myself, but I'll probably not put myself that close to a shark.
Yeah.
A family of goblins in a trench coat. Is this an Agila card? My God. Are you talking about Zurgo Stormrender? So Zurgo Stormrender for Mardu. Orc Warrior, 3/3 body.
Maybe Nariv, because those warrior tokens deal double damage when they enter.
Oh my God, you're
But
right.
no, that Nariv, second Nariv is not a Najila
That would be
card.
kind of funny though, man, because you will think about blocking. You're like, oh fuck, there's 12 coming at me. Mobilize 1. Whenever this creature attacks, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. Sacrifice it at the end. At the beginning of your next end step. I really am curious as to what these warrior tokens look like. They look sick as hell. Sweet. Okay, when anytime a card gets a token produced for it, I do art buy when it comes to tokens. That one is more than acceptable. I also like the fact that they've moved to like full art for the most part on tokens. Like it should just look sick from top to bottom.
I would love it if somebody used these tokens for an Najila deck, just so it's like everybody's in like 12th century Chinese military garb except Najila, and everybody's like, "What the crap are you wearing?
Yeah.
Didn't you get the dress code?"
Oh my God, that Blade Blossom's army is not supposed to look like this. Whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. So, what can we do with this? Let me think. What's better than drawing a card if a creature token leaves the battlefield while attacking? Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp's better than that. You're only mobilizing 1. This is okay value. So the way this is going to function is that they're just going to go bye-bye at the end of battle, and then everyone loses 1 life. Sadly, mobilize 1 is not the highest mobilized number I've seen from this set. It's actually really close to 0. This feels okay, man. I put this in bracket 3 as well. It's just, I don't know. Again, am I missing something? Is there a way, like, can we double the attack trigger here and go ham?
This is either bracket 3 or bracket 4. And the reason why is only because this is an Abdel loop outlet. Because with Abdel, 1, this does not care if tokens die. This cares if tokens leave the battlefield.
Right.
So with Abdel, he makes the soldier tokens, I think, and then you can have Abdel enter and exile all those soldier tokens, triggering Zurgo every time. And then if you're doing the Dance of the Dead loop, you deal infinite damage. So that's why it may be bracket 4. I think it's more bracket 3. But I think just having the ability to draw a lot of cards in your command zone just by playing, making tokens, and stacking tokens is pretty good. Like, if you wanted to make a Mardu Goblin deck, this Zurgo might be the way to go, just because you make Goblin tokens, sacrifice them to draw cards, and then keep going later.
Well,
yeah, I think he has potential. He's more than a 2. He's probably less than a 4.
Draw a card if it was attacking. So, right, Mateus is right. You can just have a sack outlet there. So, like, while it's attacking, you can obviously sacrifice it that way.
Fun fact as well, you can attack, deal the combat damage, still in combat, sacrifice it after dealing the combat damage, and draw a card.
Right, so your Nariv feels like it did something. I'm still not high on this. I feel like the amount of the length you'll go and the effort you'll put in to like get, because you obviously don't need to use this for tokens. You can make tokens elsewise. We just talked about this. So there's plenty of ways to like leverage this. This could be, this technically could be an outlet. Like if you have any sort of way of what's that mausoleum? There's a bunch of cards that generate tokens, like when things like leave your graveyard or enter your graveyard. The one I'm thinking about that makes bats, I can't remember. But like if you have a combo that reliably like nets you a token, right? You don't need to make infinite mana at this point. Like if I have like a Gravecrawler line, I'm just gonna use Gravecrawler because it's my favorite to talk about. If you have like Phyrexian Ultra Gravecrawler and a zombie, then you can make, with an additional token generator, make the... Do you see how much I'm talking about to make this work as an outlet? It's not very good.
To be an outlet as an infinite, you need you need to do the Abdel loop. That's the only realistic way to actually make this work as an infinite line. But
Mirkwood Bats.
Mirkwood Bats is the token bat thing I think you were talking about. But I think Zurgo is just a really good grindy commander, because if you wanted to run every single copy of Bitter Blossom that exists, you can, and then you can turn all of those tokens into draw. So I think that this Zurgo can do a lot. So I'd put him at 3. I don't think I'd put him at 4, but completely ignoring the draw, he is just kind of a blood or a Zulaport Cutthroat in the command zone minus the life gain for tokens. So I like him. I like him enough.
Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 black bad creature token with flying. I'm thinking of a Desecrated Tomb. I don't know why that was like there are other cards that do this. There are plenty of cards that create tokens when something leaves your graveyard. Again, it's just a lot of effort to go through to make this work. I think that, this is bracket 3. It's probably the better of the bracket 3s we've seen, and I don't disagree with Will. I think that you probably want to use Abdel Adrian, that white dude, to do the exile thing. Worn Soul Trader plus Gravecrawler loops. Ken Standish, yeah.
Well, Worn Soul Trader plus Gravecrawler does not do anything because you don't get death triggers off of Gravecrawler. It's only tokens.
Zombie Goblin Wizard, pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, create a treasure token.
Yeah, creature token. When a creature token leaves, then you get a trigger.
Right, so, but you need that plus the Desecrated Tomb.
Yeah, or anything, Pawn of Ulamog, something like that.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I think bracket 3 handedly. But what about this next Zurgo, Will?
Zurgo, Thunder's Decree. 1 of each Mardu, legendary creature, Orc Warrior with 2 power and 4 toughness, and mobilize 2.
Does this Orc
during your end step?
Sorry.
During your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. So completely ignore how mobilize works. You're keeping those tokens permanently. In addition to the fact that if you want to twin flame any warrior on your board that looks cool, good, that works. This can set up really dumb things just with the whole token copy thing. And it's really good with all the mobilize cards that we've had.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well that can work. I think this is probably B3, but it might be B4.
During your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can be. It's so specific. This is so specific. So I don't know, just play Najila.
I mean, like Najila does a
Better.
completely different thing.
She
I
just
think what
does
people
better.
want the
She does
what
better.
people do with the Zurgo is like make token copies of things, and then instead of sack you keep them. Because what's his name? Feldon of the Third Path. That's a good thing that you can do with this deck to just reanimate token copies of warriors in your grave, but then keep the token permanently. Like this is not a Najila style commander.
No, this is warrior tribal. Warrior tribal. My mobilized tokens can't die.
Yeah, Najila is not warrior tribal. Najila is, hey, look, that thing's incidentally a warrior. I'm happy.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I just like if you want to go because what is ultimately the objective for Zurgo Thunder's Decree? Like, what is the game plan? How am I executing a win? If I'm looking at bracket 4, like you got to have a really solid game plan that's executable with play lines that incorporate 3 cards tops. So what's he doing?
Well, you don't need combos for bracket 4. You just need like a very powerful and efficient game plan.
I want to be able to finish the game. Like, yeah, you can play stacks. You could do other things in bracket 4, but like something like this, I don't see what he's accomplishing.
It's more like you just mix in other cards that give you a stupid amount of value. Like Feldon of the Third Path is, I think, the best example I can give.
This is the guy with the skull, the puppet skull, who makes tokens of...
Yeah, it's a pay, I think, 2 and a red, tap him, target a creature in your graveyard. You make a hasty token artifact copy, and you sacrifice that at the end of the turn.
Feldon. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Changelings?
Yeah, you can do changeling stuff as well, but...
What changelings are in Mardu? This is bracket 3, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's bracket 3.
In my heart of hearts, I just don't see him really popping off like that.
Next, we have a Eshki Dragonclaw with the cool doggo in the background that you like, Patrick.
Yeah, someone said they were excited for Eshki. Which one were you? Tylor was excited for Eshki. Well, we'll talk about both.
I think it's the second Eshki. The Commander Eshki is what people are a little bit more excited about, but I'll read this one first. 1, a green, a blue, and a red for a legendary creature, human warrior with 4 power, 4 toughness, vigilance, trample, and ward 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you cast both a creature and non-creature spell, draw a card and put 2 +1/+1 counters on this. You have to invest a lot to make this bigger. The saving grace on this is that it has a little bit of built-in protection. It is a blocker because vigilance, and it has trample. I don't hate it. Maybe bracket 2, but I kind of feel like bracket 1.
I feel like this is less work than the Zurgo we just looked at.
Well, the thing is with Zurgo, you just need to have good warriors and then have good things that make token copies. With this, it doesn't do anything.
It's just you're just rewarded for casting spells, right? You cast a creature spell and you cast a non-creature spell. I feel like you're going to do that anyways. I just don't think there's a dense enough
turn, and then you're drawing
but like
card,
you play like you play a dork. I think you play a dork, obviously, and then like the thing is this. I look at this, I see draw a card and buff my commander. Those are all good things. Vigilance, trample, ward 1, a little bit of protection. It's going to be a good blocker for your board. Just again, it's just one of those decks where it's not aimless. It's just I don't immediately see a game plan for this other than the fact that it's just good value. Because, like, main phase 1, I could do those 2 things. I can cast Birds of Paradise and play removal for your whatever. I don't know. I don't hate it. It's like it's just helping you replenish your hand after playing the game, and then you're getting a bigger Eshki. I like this one a lot. I feel like this is bracket 3. If those other cards could be bracket 3, I feel like this is bracket 3. This is just good value.
My issue with this is that it's like, okay, you play 2 cards, and then you get 1 card to make this a little bit bigger. But with, like, the other Zurgo, you make, like, an extra copy of Butcher of Malakir every single turn, and then whenever one of your things dies, your opponents wipe their entire board. Like I feel like those are two really big differences. Like one is like a I build up this massive mechanism, and the other is like I get a little bigger and replenish one of the things that you just played.
Yeah. Over what? The previous Zurgo we just talked about?
Yeah, yeah, because you were saying the previous Zurgo, like the previous Zurgo wasn't as good in comparison to this, because this just gives you benefits for
Okay,
point in the
look
game, whereas the other
at
Zurgos.
face value, you play the other Zurgo. He doesn't have haste, right? Next
He
turn,
doesn't
you
have haste.
he does have haste.
He does not have haste.
All right, so you don't even get the bodies yet. Like this is operable on the same turn you play it. Not saying that it's practical, but I mean you're in colors for rituals and dorks, so it's like you could practically do something with this on the turn it's played. Uh, Also, if you cast both a creature, it counts itself, right? So like I'm
Yeah,
already doing more with this on the turn I've played it and replenishing my hand and getting a buff ass Eshki where I have to wait for the dude to do the thing. It's like there's a lot more. I feel like this is a good value mana in bracket 3. I would play this. This feels elevated over a precon. I think there's value here. Is this better than some of the other, you know, go wide, buff things, draw card commanders we've seen? I don't think so, but I don't dislike this. I think it's a little bit better than bracket 2. I guess what I'm saying.
really quick, I just want to say, so we had the cloud. No, why the frick? Because we had the cloud commander that we built, and I think we built it as bracket 3, and I think that cloud does infinitely more than this Eshki
The clown?
cloud.
Cloud.
X soldier, cloud X
Oh,
soldier.
oh, oh,
When
oh,
it
oh.
enters, put an equipment on it. When it attacks, draw a card for each equipped creature, equip attacking creature you
Oh, it's
control.
not,
Then if
not
cloud has 7 or more power, make 2 treasures.
it's not
Like
quite the
that
same.
cloud is bracket 3, but it's drawing you a card and making you treasures and free equipping a thing. And I feel like that's better than the Eshki. But even this cloud is bracket 3.
You could play Eshki, a Song of Creation and Eshki. You could play Song of Creation and Eshki. You may play an additional land each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand.
Issue with that is then you have 1 card in hand and you can't trigger Eshki.
Yeah, right, right. That could be rough. That could be bad. Bracket 3 is meant to be elevated precon, at least from their own description. To me, you could. I feel like this could be better than the average precon.
I mean, like compare this to like any of the precon commanders, then like compare it to Dragon or something like that, and it's like just Dragon as a deck was brutally strong. This just gets 2 counters a turn and draws you a card, which I'm not saying is bad. It's still playable.
I feel like you're going to draw more than Nariv. I feel like I'll see more draw off of her engine than Nariv. Crackling Vanguard.
Nariv is drawing the same amount of cards on base.
Yeah, but like I'm going to get the draw probably when I play her. And if it doesn't, it's contingent on different named tokens.
You're not getting the draw on the turn you play her most of the time, because you have to have a non-creature in hand and have the mana to play it. And a lot of the time, if she keeps dying, you're gonna just play her, and that's what you're doing for the turn in casual. Like she's drawing less than the Nariv, and that Nariv is probably going to inevitably be drawing like 5 or 6 cards a turn.
Bracket 3 is the new 7. I don't want to end the poll about dragons. I am genuinely curious for the length of the stream to see what people prefer. We just got otters recently. Obviously, dogs are always present. I didn't say cats because that's its own conflict. And Naga, because I love Nagas. Yeah, well, let me know. Guys, if you're watching the stream, where do you think Eshki Dragonclaw fits? Normally, we leave it to a vote, a poll, one would say. If you're here and viewing it at this moment, just say B1, B2, or B3. I try to give a range, like whatever the average feeling is above and below that. So write B1, B2, B3, and then we'll plant Eshki in a second. Man,
can go to the next Eshki for now.
It's in blue. That's enough for me. The fact that it's in blue is enough for me. All right,
it's
Eshki.
in blue, so it's B4.
I mean, genuinely, Genuinely, yes. I think most blue decks have a leg up over the competition. But then again, I really like control magic, so what can I say? All right. Wolfsbane, between B2 to B3 doesn't help. You gotta say one. It's like,
well, you gotta pick a singular one. You don't have to say B1. You just
it's somewhere between
B. You have to make a choice.
It's between B1 and B3. Will.
It's between B1 and B3. Yeah,
I'm just kidding with you.
B1 and B3. To be fair, there's only one choice between B1 and B3, which is 2. But
oh god. Okay, Eshki. Temur's Roar. She's in Temur. Human Warrior, 2/2 body, 3 for a 2/2. What? Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Eshki. If that spell's power is 4 or greater, a spell's power.
So it's the power of that creature spell.
It's not even a fully formed creature at this point, Will. That's like it's embryonic state. We're not even sure what it is on the stack until it hits the battlefield.
we know the numbers of the creature on the stack.
It just feels I don't know if I've seen anything that cared about the power on the stack. That's so interesting. Draw a card. I could be wrong, but I don't recall ever seeing a card that cared about power on the stack. If that spell's power is 6 or greater, Eshki deals damage equal to Eshki's power to each opponent. Hold up. Whenever you cast a creature spell, hold up. If that spell's power is, well, I mean, I don't know. That Savala combo just finishes the game, doesn't it? Doesn't popping Great Oak Guardian back into your hand and like playing it with a Temur Sabertooth just win the game? Speaking of Temur,
infinite draw. I don't think that's infinite damage because Great Oak is a power 5 or 4.
It has to be 4 or greater. If that spell's power is 4, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You draw your deck.
And then find the thing that is 6 power or more. I mean, building a Savala shell into a trip color commander obviously affords you a lot more opportunities. Sorry, this is my card. I think this is good. This seems good. This seems pretty good to me. I actually really don't hate it because most of the play lines, at least in damn it, blue green. Why am I blanking on the name? Simic, thank you. At least in Simic, rely on creature-based combos. So it's like, you're probably going to do this fairly easy. I don't think drawing your deck is a bad thing. And if you're making infinite mana while you do it, you can find a way to make this an outlet with its other ability. I think this is the cleanest commander we've seen with an executable goal so far. This could be high B3 or B4, potentially even B5, depending on how tight you make it. I do think that there are probably better things in bracket 5, but
Yeah, I think that this is probably a B4 just because it's Beast Caller in the command zone as long as you have a deck of big enough creatures and there's enough like 2-cost things that can get up to 4 power by themselves in hand. I like it just by the fact that this will be drawing you a lot of cards over the game, and then to finish the game you can just go, okay, I'm going to play a couple big power creatures, deal 30 to everybody because Eshki is at 10 power already.
Right. Yeah, and this is not even considering, like, you don't have to go infinite for this to be good. Like, just playing the creature gets you a 1/1 counter on Eshki. That's so cool, because, like, even going into the late, like, one of your early dorks that you just never got around to playing, like, you just dropped a Llanowar Elf. Like, you drew it freely off of the other thing, cast Llanowar Elf, it goes up again. It's good. I like this at B4, genuinely. I feel like this must be the Eshki that they were talking about, Tylor, if you're still there.
It's a pretty brutal commander just by the fact of if you get this Eshki big enough, eventually you just go, oh, I'm going to play a star power. I'm going to play my Tarmogoyf, which is big enough. Everybody take 10. I'm going to play another thing that's basically Tarmogoyf. Everybody take another 10. I'm going to play another thing that's basically Tarmogoyf. Everybody take another 10. Oh, look, I drew into another Tarmogoyf off casting that last one. Everyone take another 10. Good game.
Is this our first B4?
Yeah, this is a B4.
All right, I'm still waiting on, like, I'm not going to go off Mateus's vote only. Not that I don't trust your opinion, Mateus. But I'm waiting to hear a few more opinions on Eshki Dragonclaw. The value mander that she is. You're not wrong, though. I think Cloud, what was Cloud 5 mana?
Cloud was 5. Cloud was 1 more.
There's a lot holding that boy back. Is he Mardu? He's Mardu as well, right?
Yeah. No, not Mardu. He was Naya. So white, green, black. White, green, red.
Oh my god, it's the Natasha Bedingfield of Magic the Gathering. Ureni of the Unwritten. The rest is yet to be written. Ureni is just trying to get to its house and find its journal. For 4 generic, and I forget what these colors are. Temur again,
Temur.
right? Okay.
Temur.
God, what is going on with me? Wolfsbane says 2. Ah, you made it more difficult for me. All right, so 7 mana, 7/7 Spirit Dragon Flying Trample. Whenever Ureni attacks, or enters, I should say, first, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Take that. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in a random order. All right, so because we don't really want to see you, organizing the bottom of your deck. Just hurry up. Hurry up. You already got the big dragon, or big changeling, whatever. There's no cap on the size of this dragon. It could be big, it could be small, or changeling. Dig 8. It does the thing on ETB. It's 7 mana.
And attack, and there's dragons that give other dragons haste, so this might be able to find a dragon that gives it haste so it can attack and dig again.
Also, isn't there the, what's the Hellkite? What's the one that just puts your commander from the CZ onto the battlefield? What's that one called again?
Hellkite Charger? No, that's the extra combat
one. What's the dragon that came out?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's Druid's Repository? What is it?
Yeah, for those who don't know, on the last stream, I kept saying Druid's Repository when I meant Dryad's Revival.
Put commander play. Put commander battlefield.
Should be
Hellkite Courser.
Courser, that's what it was.
Right, it's 6 mana. You're only saving one. You're saving one. Whenever this creature enters, you may put your commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste. So that is relevant. So you get to do the thing twice.
I will say, if we get enough clones that are base dragons, then we could hit critical mass like Garuda.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. Is this B2? I don't know.
This is B3. Dragons are big and scary enough that cheating in a dragon every turn is table flipping.
Dragons in
also,
these colors.
If you're doing extra combats, which you probably want to do in a punchy deck, then you're getting more dragons into play. If you're doing flicker effects, which you might do in blue if you're playing this commander, that's even more things into play. Play Displacer Kitten and cheat every dragon from your deck into play casually.
Oh, we need Displacer Dragon.
Indeed.
This is
a 3.
This is B3. This is really fun. This is a fun B3.
Probably be a B4 just by the fact that it might be able to accelerate fast enough because you're in green. You ramp up to 7 very quickly.
Well, if I food chain Ureni, I could technically play every Dragonster and then have hasty dragons.
That is true. You could 100% do that. Let's go. Food chain Ureni, CDH.
1 honorary goblin. Look, the only reason I bring it up is because, yes, it's a card. And for the longest time, I feel like food chain strategies were the strategy to go to. It's just, we have the creme de la creme of 5-colored food chain, right? Isn't it just an outlet in the command zone? A cleaner one than this?
It's a sliver. First sliver is the quote-unquote best. The issue is the first sliver doesn't win by itself. It wins off of what's in your deck. So the better options are the commanders that win from the command zone. You don't need to draw to win the game. You just do the thing.
Right. Does Rocco win you the game? What's the one caterer?
The Gruul one is Roxanne. The Sultai one is the partner pairing with the Shark Dog.
This is a caterer. He's 3 colors.
Loot is the Temur one that wins without openings.
I forget this guy's name.
Yeah, Rocco is the one that's he's Port of Calling in the command zone.
Rocco Cabretti Caterer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Isn't there a food chain line with him or something?
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's just because you pay mana into him and you get a 2-card combo. You get Temur Sabertooth Dockside or whatever the new version of that is.
Yeah, so not Dockside. B3 B3.
It could be B4 in my opinion, just by the fact that you have
Yeah.
Displacer Kitten, you have food chain stuff, you have a lot of things that could let you combo off, get a massive board, and just end the game.
Okay.
Um,
No,
I'd say
I'm,
B4.
I'm with you. I'm sorry. I guess with the caveat that we're going to acknowledge there are better commanders for this strategy, but it is technically a B4 playable commander.
I mean, better dragon commanders for this strategy,
I just like
Dragon.
it's 7 mana,
It's
man. I don't know. Like you're not gonna get
Dragon's 10 mana.
Yeah, but like you're not getting much value out of this until you do the thing. I get what you're saying.
Same with Dragon's giving you a little bit of cost reduction, which, while good, is not as good as like constantly cheating in an army of dragons.
What do
That
people,
is good at putting your deck into
what,
play.
What do people do with Scion of Ur-Dragon? Is this who we're talking about?
Scion of the Ur-Dragon is different than the Ur-Dragon. Scion of the
You want the
Ur-Dragon is like
Ur-Dragon.
you set up a combo and instantly kill one player.
Oh, this is the Eminence commander.
Yeah, Ur-Dragon is the Eminence one. That is currently the best dragon commander.
You're already getting value out of this.
Yeah, it's a little bit of cost reduction off of Eminence, but it's
God.
You're playing Dragon Tempo versus putting your deck into play.
Yeah, but that's different. Eminence is different. Anything with Eminence printed on it is different in my book. Of course, it's 10 mana, sure.
Scion 9 mana, my bad. 9 mana.
Scion of the Ur-Dragon is best B4. Ureni. I think Ureni could be on there as a bracket 4 commander. You can definitely make a dragon tribal deck that wants to do that. All right.
Speaking of Ureni, next is Ureni, the song Unending. You can't finish writing your book, but you can keep writing more lyrics for your song.
Exactly. Sorry, this all reminded me of Velomachus Lorehold. I just want to see its top 7. It's in sorcery. Okay.
But
sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
Song Unending, 5, a green, a blue, and a red for a legendary creature, Spirit Dragon with 10 power, 10 toughness, flying, and protection from white and black. Mm-hmm. Whenever this enters the battlefield, deal X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponent controls, where X is the number of lands you control. This is a 10/10 with ETB. If not wipe the board, clean up the board. And it has some built-in protection. Cool, not cool enough. I'd say maybe B2, but probably B1.
I want the opposite shot of the guy standing in the field. Like, what form of druid is that?
Of just the guy just chilling while looking up.
No, I see him like crying, like listening to this beautiful Ureni
Unending song.
He's like, it's either he's crying because it's so beautiful, or he's crying because he just won't shut the fuck up.
You know what this is? It's the scene of Family Guy where Brian imagines the song Snowbird when Stewie has him listen to it.
Wait, I did not see this.
Spread your wings and fly away. It's just an owl flying through a snowy forest, but now we got Ureni flying through a snowy forest.
Alright, where's Ureni?
This Ureni is probably B1. It's literally just a bad board wipe on a commander for a good body.
Bobadi. Alright, we've got Betor and Betor. Have you met my friend Betor? Ancestor's Voice? For 2 generic...
These aren't the same legendary creatures. They're just twins that happen to have the exact same name.
Yeah, that's true for all of these.
Betor, have you met my brother Betor? Oh, hello, Betor.
Oh, Blighter, I've heard very much of your flying lifelink 3/5 dragon friend. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of 1/1 counters on up to 1 other target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. Return up to 1 target creature card with a mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Give three counters to something every turn. If you have a lifelink creature, exponentially gain more counters. That is a B3. That's +1/+1 counter shenanigans. Completely ignore the second part. But if you want to use the second part, crack a fetch land, reanimate a dork, or pay more land and start reanimating big things.
Well, you're in black. You're in black. You could do
Yeah, you very much could use the second side. But I'm saying if you want, completely ignore the second side. The first part is good enough to make it probably bracket 3, and it's solidified by the second part.
I feel like Betor wants to use his second ability. I feel like that's the better ability.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
well,
Wait,
you can use the second ability. End step reanimate something is good, but I'm saying it is already good enough to be B3 by the first part.
There's no fun necropotence thing to do, right? There's no could you do
target? No, there's no necropotence.
Like you just add Nas. You don't empty your hand before this triggers though, right?
You trigger this and then you go to clean up and discard all the cards. Even if you did discard on end step, you still have to choose the target before you would do that. So
right, yeah, this is kind of tricky. It's a tricky reanimate we're dealing with. Will's probably right. I mean, the best you're gonna get is just like some minor value piece.
Even then, it's just like, okay, well, if you have any creature with lifelink, like a 1-mana 1/1 flyer with lifelink, and you go, okay, I'm gonna put 8 counters on it. Next turn, I'm putting 16 counters on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal. Like, it's very good at making small boards big.
B is for Betor and brutal. We can put this boy at bracket 3. I think that's pretty easy.
Good old fashioned bracket 3. Now, this is the Betor that a lot of people like. Betor kills all.
He's friends with everyone.
Indeed.
Such a friendly dragon.
Betor is a dragon boy from our imagination.
Yes.
ABCs and care about toughness, and he likes to play pretend. Yes. He's 2, a white, a black, and a green for legendary creature Spirit Dragon. 5 power, 7 toughness, and flying. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. If creatures you control have toughness 20 or greater,
win the game.
If creatures you control have toughness 40 or greater, make each of your opponents lose half their life rounded up.
Betor's just a friendly dragon.
To all. We all suffer together except me. The Soviet accent feels more and more fitting as we read this last effect.
Oh, Betor. No, Betor. Don't worry about the toughness of his creatures. No, Betor is a friend to all. He's your
Don't
king.
worry. We starve together, comrades.
Oh, Russia. Okay. It's pretty good. What do you do with just Betor? If this was your only creature, it sucks.
Yeah.
But presumably
any other creature though, you're drawing a card.
Yeah, you gotta have some big booty boys or girls out there. Even like a Drannith Magistrate will do it. Shit.
I think it's not too difficult to get to 20, but I think it's going to be like near impossible to get to 40. Because if you're at 40 toughness, you're probably already running the creatures you control deal damage with toughness instead of power.
Right.
And at that point, you're dealing 40 damage. People are already dead.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. Like 40 is really high. Couldn't they have made it 30? Because like if you have that amount of power on board already, I know, but like perceivably, if you have that much toughness, there's likely a lot of power on the other end of that, bracket there. It's B3.
I wouldn't even put it B3. I think it's B2.
Yeah, that's maybe I'm being favorable because it is largely a do nothing by itself.
It is a 5 mana draw card every turn.
God, Eshki way better than this. Eshki's a little bit better than this.
Yeah, Eshki does the exact same thing, but you get 2 counters.
The 2 counters are relevant, man. There's fling.
It is. I'm not going to say the 2 counters aren't relevant. It's just that it's more or less the same thing.
I don't like this Betor as much as our other one. That's all I gotta say.
It's people like kin to all because toughness matters. Haha, funny. But Ancestor's Voice is functionally better. Like when you have it in play, you care more about Ancestor's Voice.
All right. Well, we ready to move on to Dawn of the Abzan?
Yes, we have Felofar, Dawn of the Abzan. For a white, a black, and a green, you have a legendary creature, human warrior with 3 power, 3 toughness, and trample. When this enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a non-land permanent. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Basically just antheming up your board every single turn. You can make a board of weenies, sacrifice a couple irrelevant cards, and hit pretty hard pretty quickly. Probably B2 more than anything. It's just a +1/+1 counters matter commander.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy to move on a little bit faster from some of these legends. This one's okay. It's a B2. Yeah. I'm with you on that. There's not too much to this one.
And then we have a Fellow twin sister Fellothar.
Yes. This one prefers stone thrones. Same cost except +1.
One prefers chairs. The other one likes to stand. The other one prefers sitting.
That's how you tell that if you're in the same room with them, the one that's sitting is the steadfast Fellothar. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness. Thank God. Rather than its power, I was wondering what they meant. It could have been any other value. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have defender. Shit. All those walls. Bring them back. Bring them out. For 3 generic and a tap, sacrifice another creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. Then discard cards equal to its power. That could be good or bad, but Shield Sphere, pretty good. 3 mana to do that? I gotta tap her to do that?
Thanks.
3 mana's okay. It's just I gotta tap her to do that? I understand you're trying to limit the thing, but making it cost 3 mana limits the thing. Have we learned nothing from Thrasios?
Well, I will say, as the guy who has functionally built this deck in like 8 different ways, because there's so many different commanders that say sacrifice a creature, draw equal to that creature's power.
Right.
What's his name? Greven. There's the black background commander. There's a couple different options that do this. I like this because the main abusing point of Fellothor is equipment, because there's a lot of equipment that equip for basically nothing and give creatures +0/+5,
Big
and then
booties.
you can just go, okay, plain Ornithopter, pay like 2 mana, give it +10 or +0/+10, sacrifice to draw 12 cards. You paid 5 mana and drew 12. I like it. It's a lot of value, and it lets you just play the really janky, wonky cards that you never really play, like all the walls, and you punch. But you also get a ton of draw. I'd say that this is 3.
Yeah,
it's better than 1, but it's not crazy.
Yeah, this isn't going to use any real... by the way, the other factor here that, unless you're familiar with the brackets, is the game changers. That's the only other factor. Because bracket 3 is capped on how many game changers you could apply. And this is a deck that I don't think really cares about too many game changers, so you'll probably use Guy's Cradle, obviously. And then a bunch of odd shit. I like this a lot. This feels like we should build this. I think that this is something worth taking a look at. This is actually quite good in my opinion.
Yeah. It is nice.
Yeah, I like it. But what about Elsha Threefold Master, you say?
You're the only child.
Yeah, Elsha, the only child. That's why she got the pink gloves. Her family loves her. So she's just Guy.
Spoiled brat.
spoiled little brat. Jin monk, 1/1 body, trample, prowess. I don't see Elsha as spoiled. There's something about this character I could tell even without talking to Elsha. She doesn't seem spoiled. Whenever Elsha deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. Well,
this commander is freaking brutal.
It's kind of cool.
Like, just prowess in general, making her big enough and then making you a board of other prowess things that are going to get big is crazy enough. But if you do any buff spell on her, you just get a massive board that will be getting massive itself. So you kill people with combat damage very quickly. In addition, tribal stuff is good. Like, if you have the Vanquisher's Banner or the Shared Animosity, you're dealing like 40 damage on turn 5. And that's like assuming just lands, no fast mana, nothing. It's good.
Elsha Beats, I feel like will probably still land itself in bracket 3, but I get what
I
you're saying. You know, it's just difficult without normally like some of the intrinsic values we're looking for are like card advantage. Does it tutor? Does it do particularly well at stopping our opponent's game plans? This is so hardcore aggro. I don't really know. In itself, it's like it does all of this by itself. Like Will was saying, like all you really need to do is put on a good buff spell because it has trample built in, right? So like once you have that, just hope they don't play Orcish Bowmaster as soon as you cast that buff spell. That's my. I think my one qualm is that like,
if they play Orcish Bowmaster, like you're usually still fine because you have a ton of mana. You're just like, okay, get one buff on.
yeah, well,
Okay,
yeah,
she's
exactly,
bigger. Orcish
exactly.
Bowmaster, pile more.
Right, right. I don't know, man. She is paper thin though. Like on everyone else's turn, she's paper thin. So it's like just bear that in mind. Clearly you're in blue, so you should be fine. I don't know when you at its height, you could probably do some crazy bracket 4 thing here. I feel like it's
Don't think
probably
you need.
tough
I
to
don't think you
do.
need to invest anything for this to be bracket 4 because doing a little bit of math, let's just say turn 3 Elsha, turn 4 you play Give a Thing +3/+3 in red. She is now a 5/5 because of the prowess
The
trigger.
prowess trigger on this card.
She swings and then gets you 4 monk tokens. And then next turn, every spell you play, or sorry, she gives you 5 monk tokens.
Provided it wasn't blocked by like a dork or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even if she's blocked by a dork, and that's just 4, but.
Oh, what deals common damage to a player? Yeah, okay.
So she has 5 tokens and then herself. Now from here on out, any spell that you cast that's not a creature is 2 lightning bolts worth of damage. And that's just off of playing one spell. You had probably 4 more or 3 more mana to play with the buffer even bigger. So you're probably getting her to be like an 8 power creature on the first turn that she's swinging, maybe 9. And then you're going to be getting 10 power every single time you cast a spell from there on out.
Yeah.
So you're killing people really quickly. Casting 4 spells is enough to kill somebody with Elsha on the turn after you attack with the first time.
Was OG Elsha of the Infinite? Sorry.
Yeah, OG Elsha of the Infinite is the Sensei's Divining Top one.
It is a Jin monk. A Jin monk, correct. Not a human.
She is. Okay, interesting. But Elsha is this Elsha is very good because you don't need to invest into like a whole strategy. You just play like a few buff spells.
I like it in bracket 4. Okay, so we should build Felithar Steadfast B3. We should build Elsha 3-fold bracket 4. 4-fold. And what should we do as Narset Jeskai Waymaster, Will?
Oh, well, Narset Jeskai Waymaster is a blue, a red, and white for a legendary creature human monk with 3 power and 4 toughness. At the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. This is kind of Joyra, Weatherlight Captain, but weird. So with this Narset, let's look at it kind of like Joyra. You play a couple artifacts, you retrace to bounce them and replay them. Keep track of your storm count, and then you draw equal to your storm count on end step. If you have anything that keeps hand size, you get a very big hand. You can also cast all your rituals and stuff like that, cast Past in Flames, draw even more cards again. There's a ton of different things that you can do with this Narset to draw a lot of cards in one go. The issue is that you're drawing them on your end step, so you will be discarding your hand, drawing 20 cards, and then discarding down to 7.
I'm gonna cast Orcish Bowmaster.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt, but
could you? Are you? I like how she's giving an epic high five. Bracket 3.
Yeah, I think potentially bracket 4, just because if you're doing Past in Flame stuff, you can draw a lot and then probably find a combo quickly.
Yeah.
But it is really good when you get it going, but it is very clunky to get it going.
Vicious to start up.
Yeah.
I'll
say B3. We can say B3.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, obviously, Underworld Breach is a thing. Like, if you fail, then, this is like a good way to recover. But why are you failing? Play a better commander. I'm sorry.
Next, have a Chico and Narset unified. I'm glad to see that their siblings are getting along.
Yeah, right? That's good. The Narset unified with Shiko. All that backwards. 4/4, human spirit dragon, of course, for peace. Lead by example. And how is she leading? With flying and vigilance. Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy that spell if it targets a permanent or player, and you may choose a new target for the copy. New targets. If you don't copy a spell this way, draw a card! Get a card! I love reading that. It almost makes me not want to copy a spell. So the spell
this is really funny because I want to bring up first. We have a commander that literally does this exact same thing but worse, and it costs one less, but it does not have white in it. It's the commander that has when you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card, and people play that. It's a 3-mana 2/3 no keywords. This has flying, vigilance, also has white, and instead of drawing the card, you can copy this spell if it targets a thing. But with this, you can just choose not to copy the spell and draw the card every single time. So, this is a better version of like kind of a B3, B2 commander that people have already brewed. So, it's a B3.
It's B3. I mean, it's kind of cool. You copy, like if you're playing like a big old, creature on the stack or something, and you can copy an extra turn spell, that's easy enough. Choose new targets for that extra turn. You won't. Shiko Narset. I think that this definitely belongs in B3. Yeah, that's as far as it'll go. But what about Shiko himself?
Shiko, Paragon of the Way, the sibling to the Shiko that's buddies with Narset's sibling.
Dude, Shiko's giant. If that's Shiko on a mountain with a little walking path there under its foot, this is not true to scale. Like the Shiko behind Narset should be massive.
How big is Narset?
That's true.
How far away is Narset in front of Shiko?
Oh, actually, you think it's a foreground background sort of?
Yeah.
Shiko's still standing on the mountain in this image.
He's on the mountain like 200 miles away. He's just that big.
Don't ask me why he's in focus. Okay. Shiko, Paragon of the Way, will show us the way.
2 a blue, a red, and a white for legendary creature, Spear Dragon with 4 power and 5 toughness. I don't know why I'm starting to do the 4 tough voice, but flying and vigilance. When Shiko enters, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard, copy it. You may cast to the copy without paying its mana cost. If you copy a permanent spell, when it resolves, it makes a token. This is fun only because blue has a ton of different ways to make token copies of tokens you control, and you can do populate stuff to make very, very funny board states where
Rhystic Study.
You just have like 30 Rhystic Studies because populate.
I need more Rhystic Studies!
So
the drawing one card of you suckers isn't enough. I mean, honestly, you'll probably that's the best target. Am I wrong?
Let me double check just to make sure that populate is not create token. Creature token.
Yeah, but
populate is creature token, so you can't populate your Rhystic Study. But there's other cards that will let you make a copy of it. But I think most of them say copy of an artifact token you control. So I don't know if you can do Rhystic Study, but you can do Esper Sentinel. You can do Fairy Masterminding. When everybody draws their second card, you draw 30.
It's like this is relying on it being removed pretty much, because it's not like we have clean ways to just entomb these in these colors. Obviously, Gamble exists. You know, you could just flub Gamble and then
we have loots. We have loot effects.
Yeah, you got loots. You got rummage.
Apparently,
you gotta yeah. What's could you imagine? You're just like there. What is the world where you faithless looting and don't play the Rhystic Study? You just discard Rhystic Study like you're so clever. They're like, they see this in your command zone. Are you gonna Paragon of the Way that Rhystic Study?
No. The thing that people like about this though is Displacer Kitten. You play Displacer Kitten with this and you just cast everything in your grave. That's not creature, but
yeah, no, it's cool though.
You have to fill your grave. That's the issue.
Yeah, and the other issue is it's non-land, so it's not like you can't ramp with this. But if you're doing Displacer Kitten things, then you're probably in a good place. Is there a combo with this in Displacer Kitten? Is there a 3-mana thing? Is there What are you doing? What are you doing, Will?
You're exiling the original card from your graveyard every
You're
time,
doing
so you
nothing.
can't.
You're doing nothing, is what you're saying, Will.
The thing you can do is Brain Freeze, because you can cast everything, then cast Brain Freeze last, Storm, resolve the Storm first, mill a ton of cards, and then flicker Shiko, and then play all the things that you just milled off of Brain Freeze. That's like the combo, but that's have Shiko, have Displacer Kitten, and have Brain Freeze in your hand or graveyard.
Nah, my guy. Is
Yeah,
this bracket? Is this bracket 2?
This is probably bracket 2. It's more funny than useful.
Yeah. Flicker, I get it. Cool value. Any rate, moving on. Codis Sipsig Champion. We covered this.
Edward Penhand himself.
Yeah, we covered this in depth on a stream, and we agreed that it was bracket 5.
So it played out to be bracket 5, but we agreed the reason it was bracket 5 was because we just built Temur good stuff. So it was more the deck was bracket 5, but the commander himself is probably bracket 4 because he's Muldrotha. He is a mini Muldrotha. He does Muldrotha's thing, but he does it a little bit faster with limitations. But by himself, he is just a very good utility creature that can play into a million different decks and can abuse the heck out of a lot of different things, and he has clear combos.
Right.
So we can say B4, we can say B5. I think B4 is probably a little bit better because I don't think that this is going to be a commonly played CDH deck, but this could definitely beat CDH decks.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I put an asterisk on that commander because this is definitely a good list. I would recommend you check out our Codis Sibsig Champion deck. There is a stream we did on this commander, or rather legendary, not that long ago. Definitely worth a watch. And it did play test really well. We goldfished the decks after we were done building them. Obviously, if you have ideas on how to improve upon the deck or you have your own list, feel free to share your thoughts on that video or this video. I'll put it in bracket 4. I think it's a good 4 slaughter. I agree with you. It's not going to be common. What about Codis the Fangkeeper, though? The guy who collects the teeth under your pillow. What a weirdo.
Also known as the Tooth Fairy. Let's go. So the Tooth Fairy is a black, a green, and a blue for legendary creature zombie warrior with 2 power, 1 toughness, and indestructible. When this deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of their library, where X was the amount of damage done. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Note, that is not total mana value. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is just mana value X or less. So, get this big, punch somebody very hard, get a bunch of free stuff to control out the game, and then just do dumb things. As a commander, you're probably running all of the 1 mana give good stats effects or 0 mana give good stats effects, and probably also hatred. And whenever anyone just says no blocks, then you go buff the utter crap out of him, hit, get a ton of value. You can totally build this as a bracket 5 just because you're threading through other people's decks and then casting like 4 tutors for free and then getting draw engines. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably more of a bracket 4 though, and this is probably going to be the Thief deck for a while because even just hitting and playing like a couple cards off of exiling 2 is not horrible. I like it.
Is this an extra turns deck?
No, because you can't
reliably
exile yourself. You're doing your opponent's decks. So
is that extra top cards? Yeah.
The person you hit, you're stealing their deck.
Well, what if it's a Tatiana? What if it's a?
This is more
Tatiova?
Like a control deck.
No, you think this is bracket 4 though?
Yeah, because if you're looking at it from like a casual perspective, you're going, okay, you're running big stuff. I'm going to play a little bit of Voltron stuff on this to make it 10. Hit you for 10. Oh, look, an Eldrazi Titan, or something really big and stupid. Or, oh no, I ate your combo. This is just good at disrupting decks while getting a ton of value, and then you just say a couple Voltron things, and then all of the interaction.
So
and
this is like... sorry. This is like Daniel Day-Lewis from There Will Be Blood. He drinks your milkshake. Is that what he's doing? Dude, I think that
Or
this.
he has another arm that's just a bony hand holding a straw.
um, you have to land the hit is the thing. It's like,
Yeah,
this is not always a consistent thing. So like sometimes you're going to target the player that you don't even want to target just to make sure that you can consistently do this and hopefully get random value. This feels like
I
bracket
will.
3, man.
I'll say green gives him trample, blue gives him flying, and black gives him like fear and all the removal that you need to get in. You
Okay,
can probably connect pretty consistently because a lot of the buff spells that you're going to play will give some form of evasion.
Reliably, because like you're not filling your hand with this, you're just like playing shit from your hand and hoping you hit something you need. Realistically, I feel like this is bracket 3, man.
I think that this is just going to be a Voltron commander that just says, okay, you can deal with my Voltron thing, or you can deal with all the stuff that I've been stealing from your deck that's also threatening to
There's
end the
just
game.
too much RNG is my issue. Because even if you did dig 10 deep, it's like, I don't know, you just like get rid of all their lands or like all the whiffs they had or something. It's okay. Or like the one thing you did want, like the PETA, you were just like just 1 mana shy with your
Well,
attack
like
power.
in casual, it's like you hit one person, then you go, okay, I hit a board wipe and a whole bunch of threats. I'm gonna play the board wipe first and then drop all the threats. Now you have to deal with Codus, all the equipment on Codus, and all the threats I just dropped because I hit you once.
All right. Look,
It's a Voltron deck that goes wide.
Here's my concession. I'll put this in B4 if we put Eshki in B3. Otherwise, it's B3 to me.
Yeah, if we're putting Eshki in B2, then yeah, we'll put this in B3. I'm fine with that.
You want to?
I would rather Eshki be in B2 than this be in B4.
All right, you hear that, Mateus? We're wrong. We're wrong. I'll do that because I think that this is B3, and if you feel like Eshki is B2, then I'll go with that. All right,
Hebel.
Tavel, have you met my brother Tavel yet?
Get ready for Devil and make it Devil.
It's ready for
Team
Tevel
Rock
and
blasting off again.
This guy over here was not ready for Tevel. The one on the right, just like spirit burning in front of this dragon. Which one? Yeah.
But Tevel, Arbiter of Virtue.
Yeah. Ignore us.
2, a black, a green, and a blue for legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, with 6 power, 6 toughness, flying, lifelink, and your spells have Delve. Whenever you cast a spell, lose life equal to that spell's mana value. Fun card. This is really just a big dumb ritual in the command zone where you can just say, I'm going to exile the 5 fetches and spells I've cast this game, and then cast PETA for 5 cheaper.
Yeah.
This is good at the fact that it's going to gain you back life for the things that you're delving out. And if you do make a massive graveyard, and then you just go, okay, I'm gonna bring this back up again because I'm always gonna love bringing this up. Let's say you Hermit Druid, and then you have Dryad's Revival. I said the right card this time.
You mean Druid's Repository? Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a Dryad's Revival. Getting back Torrent of Hailfires. You cast Torrent of Hellfires, X equals like 30, lose 30 life, but then everybody is dead.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the best line of play, honestly, because obviously casting spells and losing life blows.
Yeah, you can make your Adnos cheaper, but also lose life for your Adnos.
Yeah,
and then you lose life for everything you cast from your hand after losing all your life for Adnos.
Yeah, you're just hitting the delete button on your own deck. You're just like, every time you pull a card, you're like, oh, man, I gotta get more 0-cost cards, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to play shit, and I need to kill my Tevel before I do anything. Like, it was like,
that's why PETA is better than Adnos for Devil.
Here, just here. B4?
B4, because there's so many different play lines that you can use with him where he actually works. I think he's probably B5 just for the fact that you have other win cons outside of Thorkel in this deck. But I'd say B4 more than I would say B5. He's not like super streamlined.
Yeah. That's interesting. Wolfsbane says they're surprised, not surprised that the Sultai commanders are generically good. Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like it's a good part of the color pie. Generally, good effects in those colors. But moving on, I agree with you on B4. It's a pretty clean B4. This is one of those legends we're thinking about building, but it's not as interesting as the two we highlighted earlier. So we'll probably focus on them first. But Tevel the Balanced Scale. Spirit Dragon, cost of 4/4/4 body, so good vanilla flyer here. Whenever Tevel attacks, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Wah, wah. Do shock lands still work if it enters the battlefield? No, I need to no.
Shocklands say that they become tapped unless you pay 2 life. So
Okay.
if they enter untapped but immediately become tapped as like a game state action.
Right,
But
but can
with
you
Temple
cheat?
they enter tapped, so you could pay the 2 life, but they're still going to be tapped.
I was like, is there a way to cheese this? Okay, it doesn't.
No.
I put generically curse you autocorrect. Yeah, no, I figured you didn't mean genetically. Sultai is a genetically superior tribe of cards. Yeah, God, Wolfsbane.
We must all respect the Sultai race.
Please, no, please, Elon, leave. No, we can't have that in our chat right now. Please don't burn our dragons.
Don't
Whenever
burn our hands like Tevel may or may not be
Right.
doing in this art. It's probably a guy summoning Tevel.
Yeah, it's probably kosher.
It's looking like Tevel's breathing fire on his hands potentially.
Yeah, Betor, we're kin here, right? We're all kin. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, guess what, Will? What do you think's gonna happen? You probably
Make
already
a zombie, like all the other things that say whenever one or more things leave your graveyard.
But it's a zombie druid. It's a zombie druid. Look at this zombie. Oh my god, this is a handsome boy. He doesn't look like a zombie. He looks
It's
like
the same as the dancers. We
so
covered the
yeah.
dancer, the Sultai dancer from the previous the card coverage. The
Hold
set,
me
the set
closer,
review.
zombie dancer. Yeah, they
You were like, wow, they look really good for 2,845.
right. Yeah, what's their skincare
and
routine?
they look like this in the alternate art. Like they look like just people, but their skin color is purple. But
Italian cares about power on the stack. Thank you, Randy. I love it when people correct us during the live, but genuinely, was I not even correct? I just need to know.
Well, I knew there was things that cared about power. Was Talion the first? There's probably something before Talion, but Talion might have been the first. But for this Tevel,
are the scales balanced, Will?
I'd say that this Tevel's. I love using this word. Tevel is mid. This Tevel is mid. He's not bad. He's probably a 3, like a 3 or 2, but I'm willing to lean a little bit more for 3 because usually the leave graveyard effects do let you do more crazy things. Like if you wanted to do aristocrats. Lord, choking on my words. If you wanted to do aristocrats, you could do reassembling skeleton with either Phyrexian Altar or Warren Soul Trader, and then the zombie that you get when you reanimate reassembling skeleton lets you go infinite. So you get infinite death triggers. Or infinite mana, depending on if you want to do what's it called? Gravecrawler. And then you can replay Tevel infinitely and mill your entire deck and then get all your lands into play.
Tapped.
Yeah, tapped.
Well, unless you use oh shit, that's in white. Is there a card that makes it so they don't come in tapped?
Yeah, Amulet of Vigor.
Oh, okay. Amulet of Vigor. Yeah.
And there's like a ton of green ones that also just say enters untapped, and there's a creature that does it as well. But really, this is just kind of a worse version of Tormod Thrasios, because Tormod has the exact same last effect. When when one or more cards leave your graveyard, you make a 2/2 black zombie, not druid, but black zombie. He doesn't have the mill effect, but replacing that for Thrasios as a extra effect is really good. So Tormod Thrasios is like a kind of B5 just because Thrasios, but I'd say that this Tevel
no thoughts on
losing
Tormod.
the whole Thrasios thing is probably like B3 or B2, but I'd say
knock it down.
I lean more for B3.
I'm gonna say B3 because like this has of all the it's on attack,
It's ramping an extra land every turn and making a 2/2 zombie on every turn at base.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting an Evolving Wilds back every single time, immediately cracking it on your
No.
next turn, and then getting that Evolving Wilds back tapped again and again and again, and then making a zombie every time you do that. And then if you're doing any other reanimator, self-reanimate things like Bloodghast, you're getting more zombies. So it does what it wants to do well enough.
Is it bad that I wish the tokens were 1/1s so I can skull clamp them? I just,
Yeah, you're in black, and you want sacrifice things in this deck anyways, so
yeah,
you're
put
probably
Tevesh in
gonna.
there. Put Tevesh in there. They're not thralls, but you'll get there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're running like Phyrexian Altar and Warren Soul Trader already, so
Yeah.
just keep doing the thing. See, I think he's B3 because you can the attack trigger gets you zombies and ramps you to set up an engine, so it has good enough utility, but I don't think it's abusable enough to be B4.
No, I agree with you. I'm happy with this in B3. I think B3 specifically, because this just feels like good value. Like you're saying, on its face, I feel like this will be an effective deck at building value. Because you can't discredit how good it is to ramp with lands, especially in bracket 3, because mass land destruction is a big no-no. So it's like your lands are going to be safe, even if they're entering taps. Like, you should have a progressively larger board or more to do with this commander as opposed to some of the other B3s that we've even looked at today. I like it. I don't disagree that it feels a little mid, but I said that's just relative to the other Tevil. That one's pretty nasty. I would
And
run.
somebody brought up the Sidisi Brood Tyrant. I will say Sidisi is kind of a worse version of this Tevil, because I'll read it off. It's the
I'll bring it up.
same
So
cost Legendary Snake Shaman with 3 power and 3 toughness.
Naga Shaman, sir.
Yeah, well, actually, Oracle text, sirs.
Did they correct it here? Yeah. Okay.
ETB and attack mill 3. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, you make a 2/2 zombie. The reason why this Sidisi is a good deal worse than the Tevil is that Sidisi cares about creatures entering your graveyard, so you can whiff. Unless you're running a whole bunch of other mill effects, you're not going to be able to keep going. The reason why Sidisi is probably better than Tibble is you have a bunch of things that say sacrifice a creature, mill some cards, or blah blah blah, creature enters, mill some cards, that kind of thing. And then you can keep storming off. But you're not always going to be able to storm off with Sidisi. With Tevil, he's milling you cards, getting you back a land to ramp you, and then making a zombie. But he's also making a zombie in a equally as abusable way, because he can set up combos with like reassembling skeleton, or any of the other like I reanimate if blah 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 happens cards.
Yeah,
So
it's funny how close these cards are together, by the way.
yeah,
Sidisi, but I forget about Sidisi Brood Tyrant, and I think it is because it's contingent on a creature from your from your library hitting the graveyard. It's just not something you could do as consistently as this Tevil, right? Just having it leave your graveyard is something that we can plan for by how we build the deck. Like Will was saying, reassembling skeletons, my favorite Gravecrawler. And it's actually tenable with the Gravecrawler because it is a zombie druid.
some Jurassic Magic brought up this Tevil combos with the new Sultai Dragon, the one that's that we brought up before. When leaves your graveyard, make a treasure,
the
and tortured existence.
Keru Goldkeeper we actually talked about the other day because it was a part of our review. This is from the set, right? So we just cover that really quick? So far as this is a combo with the Tevil we were talking about.
Yeah, because when something leaves your graveyard, you make a treasure and a 2/2 zombie. You're just looping and discarding stuff, making infinite 2/2 zombies.
Dude, this oldie and goldie. It's funny, I have a copy of Tortured Existence I bought because I'm like, this will combo with something. There's never really been a great combo for it. Wow, $12. I guess I haven't played with it for a while. Somewhere behind me. Choose and discard a creature card. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Tortured Existence is expensive because I think it's a pauper staple.
Oh, it's like survival, but for your grave.
He's good.
It's good. I dig that. That is kind of cool. Nice little 3-card combo for you.
Recurse Spore Frog every single turn to just fog people out.
So how are we putting on B3?
Yeah, B3.
That's it for the brackets, people. Don't mind the ads. Don't mind the ads. Oh god, give you a boost. Okay. So from our bracket system here, and again, we could talk about where these should fall post if you guys want, but as we went over these and as we discussed them, this is kind of where we found them organically. We have 5 in B4, which I think is accurate. It's the face card, Eshki, and there's a lot actually from our commander sets, which I'm impressed by. Eshki, the other dragon, not Shiko. What is this dragon called? Ureni, Elsha, Boy We Built, whose name is also slipping, Codis for POTUS, and the one we just talked about, Tevel, specifically Arbiter of Virtue, as our B4s. Yeah, I still think that holds true. I feel like these are all really good. I think of the lot, Will, which are you most interested in? I feel like I know which one. Well, you know what? Let's try something new here. I feel like we can organize these really quickly as to give you a better idea of which ones you should be looking at if you're interested in brewing for a particular bracket. I feel like Elsha is kind of the best of the B4s.
I think like the Sultai ones are good as just generically, hey, we win the game, but that's because they're in Sultai. But I think Elsha is the best to build around.
For sure. How does Eshki fall for you?
Eshki,
Shimmer's Roar. She's the one that's for a greater draw.
I think that Eshki is probably like second to last. I'd go kind of how you have it set up right now. You just go the prowess commander into the Elsha, into the 2 Sultai commanders, into Eshki, into the other dragon. I think that's probably the best order.
Oh, you're saying Elsha,
Temur, Eshki, then the dragon.
Elsha,
And then the Temur, or Sultai. Sorry, Sultai,
Eshki. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So far, there.
There.
That's okay. We don't need to organize the B2s or B3s, really. But
let's organize the B1s, just so people know how bad some of them suck.
Because we normally lean towards a more competitive play here on the channel, so I do care about where our bracket 5s and 4s sit, because there's a little bit more nuance between like similar effects and color offerings and what you want to do. I think
Elsha can build a board by herself and make a massive setup, and you don't really need to build into her too much outside of the occasional buff spell. This Codis is basically a mini Muldrotha, so you do what Muldrotha does, and you just abuse your graveyard a little bit. This Tevel has a bunch of extra play lines that Sultai would need, and ramps into your big end game spells. The Eshki there is just a really brutal commander, because once you give her any kind of power or stats, you just start nuking people from orbit. Yeah. And the last dragon, whose name I can't remember, is just a pretty decent dragon commander.
Do you mean Natasha Bedingfield, Ureni? Yeah. The rest is still unwritten.
Oh, yeah. But people were saying Scion of the Ur-Dragon is the best dragon commander. I will respond to that by saying Scion of the Ur-Dragon is not a dragon commander at all. Yes, it cares about dragons, but you care about running like 4 dragons. So like, you're not running any real dragons. You're not.
What's the density of dragons for you to say it's a dragon deck? How many dragons need to be in the deck for it to be a dragon deck?
More than just like the package you need for a combo. It's like, if you're running a dragon deck, you're probably running like at least 12 dragons. I'd say like that's my very, very, very bare minimum.
Okay. And speaking of dragons, let's see if you guys really care about them. All right, Tarkir Dragonstorm was 27 votes over the course.
Otter's got second place.
I was not expecting that. 44% of you love dragons. Well, go figure, because we are discussing the set all about them. But was there enough density of dragon for this to be considered a dragon set? We'll have Will report back to you in a second. Otters are second with 33% of the vote. Nagas and dogs have 11% each. Thank you for anyone else who voted Naga. Yes, I did go into the chat
Patrick
and
is
vote
an
Naga.
otter shock.
I'm an otter shock. Otter disbelief. Daspa says Tiamat is the best Dream Halls commander? Question mark? Sure. Yeah, why not? Dream Halls is the cast things for free thing? Or
Yes. Let me double check Tiamat just so that I can agree. Yeah. But Dream Halls is the enchantment that says instead of paying for spells, you can. Yeah. That's the dragon. Instead of casting a spell, you can discard a card to cast that spell without paying its cost.
Yeah,
Has to share a color.
that's not bad. I don't know if Tiamat's the best though, but
yeah, Tiamat is actually one of the better dragon commanders though. But I think people go for Dragon over Tiamat for dragons in general.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, gang, that is it for our legendary tier list for this set. If we are wrong about one of the legends, feel free to let us know. Obviously, we try to cover these as in-depth as thoroughly as possible. I mean, this was a 2-hour stream, so maybe that's not enough for 26 cards, but we do try to cover everything. However, if we did miss anything, any particular play lines or combos, things of note for these legends, let us know, because I am always interested in brewing for them. If you haven't followed us here on the channel in a while, we do weekly streams where we brew decks. So if you want to join us for those, we should be covering at least 2 of the legends we saw here today, namely Elsha and our girl, I should say, Felithar, the Steadfast. I want to do one or both of those soon, and probably Elsha first, because I do think that we could push that deck pretty far. Although Felithar is way more interesting a build. I'm not really worried about anyone touching Felithar the Steadfast, excuse me, anytime soon. So there's a good window on that. At any rate, thanks for joining us, guys. If you enjoyed this one, feel free to leave it with a like. It goes a long way. It just shows that you appreciate the channel. And if you want to buy any of these singles, use the TCG player link. That also goes a long way. Well, any thoughts?
You pretty much covered it all. TCG player. If you want to discuss any of the things, use the Discord link. That is that.
I am going to organize my room. That's what I want to do today. I have a friend coming over shortly, but I am going to organize my room, get some decks set up, and play a little bit of One Piece today. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Let me know if you play One Piece or Monster Hunter or Magic, clearly. What are you going to do, Will?
I am going to be probably organizing stuff as well. I'm going to probably be organizing a whole bunch of card stuff. Finally getting stuff ordered for a couple more casual decks for friends. I'm building a casual old stick fingers deck. It's a dinosaur tribal.
Oh, so it has at least 12 dinosaurs.
It has less than 12 dinosaurs, but I am casting and replaying dinosaurs.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, the thing with Sign of the Air Dragon is you're not playing dinosaurs. You're not playing dragons. You're just going like, okay, I'm going to cheat in these 2 effects that win the game. Those 2 effects happen to be dragons.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
With old stick fingers, I am playing dinosaurs.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on the next one. Enjoy your pre-release. Enjoy your set release. I want to buy some pre-release kits for this one.